Ladies and gentlemen, live from Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977. It's Wednesday or Saturday, and you know what that means. It's time for AEW Dynamite or Collision Event Center. And now here's the man that will bring you the happenings of AEW All Elite Wrestling action, Mr. Eric M. Lima. Thank you very much, Mr. Announcer, sir. Well, hello there, everyone. Welcome to yet another episode of Eric Lima Shenanigans, 1977, episode 2252. Sorry I had to start a little late here, 11:36 p.m. May the 17th, 2025. Before we talk about Collision, I'm going to tell you what happened. There was some technical difficulties on Collision on the East Coast side, and unfortunately they had to cut to the Black Adam movie. Now, I don't know why they did that. I don't understand it. But luckily I did end up watching it on another site, and I'm just gonna say, I just thank God that my computer, a backup plan as usual. So unfortunately, I know a lot of people are not gonna be very happy with AEW or TNT or whoever, what happened and why. Technical difficulties and all that, and I think it's kind of BS, and to be totally honest. To me, AEW has jumped the shark because of that, in my personal opinion, and I'm very disappointed in AEW. And they said, "Oh, we're gonna re-air it, but it's not going to be on, going to be on the West Side only, West Coast only," which is crap. So we East Coast people got screwed out of it. But like I said, I managed to watch the rest of it on another website, and like I said, I'm very disappointed in AEW right now. I've always enjoyed watching wrestling, whether it be WWE, AEW, TNA, but AEW really making all the mistakes that they're making, and they need to cut it out. If they want to be successful, they need to get the people what they want. And unfortunately, AEW has done that. Now, I'm not going to say I'm going to quit watching AEW because of the fact that, like I say, 3 of my favorite girls are on it, and that's the only reason why I like watching AEW, because of Toni Storm, Mina Shirakawa, and Harley Cameron, and sometimes Hikaru Shida. But like I said, very, very disappointed. And I'm sure a lot of jokes will be coming out of that already. I'm making jokes that The Rock was responsible because he's talking about Black Adam and all that. But thankfully, I've managed to find it, and so we're going to talk a little bit about it, all right? So let's talk about it right now. Anna Jay against Megan Bang, going to 1-1. Anna Jay, accompanied by the lovely Harley Cameron. Megan Bang, accompanied by Penelope Ford. And Penelope Ford was starting to get involved in the matches, and so Harley Cameron decided to even things up, and they started to brawl out of the arena to the back. But despite that, Megan Bang ended up winning the match, defeating Anna Jay. Nigel McGuinness addressed FTR, and so the challenge was issued for Double or Nothing, so they accepted. So it will be Nigel McGuinness and Daniel Garcia joining forces against FTR in that tag team matchup. AR Fox went one-on-one with Kyle Fletcher with Don Callis, a.k.a. Hot Dog Head, joining on commentary. And ended up heck of a matchup, but Fletcher ended up winning the matchup, so he's trying to recover from the Owen Hart tournament loss to Hangman Adam Page. Meanwhile, he stayed on commentary for the next match of trios matchup, Brody King and the New Japan Strong Open Weight Champion, Mr. Tomohiro Ishii, and Ring of Honor World Champ Bandito going up against the RPG Vice, Roppongi Vice, that's Rocky Romero and Trent Beretta, and Lance Archer. And Lance Archer, despite the size of that, Brody King, Ishii, and Bandito won the matchup, but then they got jumped afterwards by the losers of the matchup, but the Outrunners decided to help King, Ishii, and Bandito. It looks like they issued a challenge to the RPG Vice, and that's what they want. Meanwhile, Lexi Nair interviewed Paragon, and then the Grizzled Young Veterans interrupt them, started insulting them. But next week there will be a tag match of Paragon versus the Grizzled Young Veterans. Then you got Speedball Mike Bailey against Blake Christian, and Speedball Mike Bailey ended up winning the matchup, and he dresses the Chicago crowd after the match and calls out Kazuchika Okada. Okada responds to Mike Bailey, but Rush and Dralistico attacks Bailey from behind. Meanwhile, John Moxley addresses Samoa Joe, Swerve Strickland, and addressing Anarchy in the arena. And Gabe Kidd ends it with Abandon All Hope. Then you got the Chicago Street Fight, Big Bill and Brian Keith of the Learning Tree against the Gates of Agony, Bishop Khan, Etola Leona, and Big Bill and Brian Keith ended up winning that heck of a fight. The lovely and curvaceous and babylicious Mina Shirakawa addresses the equally lovely, gorgeous, babylicious and curvaceous Toni Storm, and she says, my time is now, and it's been a little different. So how has Mina Shirakawa changed in her last match against Toni Storm? We'll find out at Double or Nothing, because they will collide for the AEW Women's World Title. Tony Schiavone leads the tribute with Steve Mongo McMichael and his widow Misty, and one of his good friends, fellow horseman Dean Malenko, and Ric Flair joined them and paid tribute to Steve Mongo McMichael. And that was when after that the feed was cut off on TV, and it went straight the Black Adam. I thought it was some kind of promo, but it was a technical difficulty feed, and people have been wondering, is the tape show? How can that happen? I don't something's not kosher about that. So that's what I'm thinking. There's so many screwed up things happening. It's not funny. Okay, then. Then you got the number one contenders match for the AEW Women's AEW World Tag Team titles held by the Artist Syndicate. The Sons of Texas and Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions versus the Crew. Now, Sons of Texas is Dustin Rhodes and Sammy Guevara. Meanwhile, Crew is Leo Rush and Action Andretti. And Sons of Texas end up winning the matchup. They'll be facing the Hurt Syndicate at Double or Nothing for those titles. So, Alexi interviewed Chris Statlander, and Will Nightingale confronts her. They're arguing. Looks like their feud's picking up where they left off. And this time around, Stokely Hathaway's not the one causing it. That's for sure. Then the main event, Powerhouse Hobbs versus Willa Yuta, a.k.a. Crackhead Bruce Lee. Hobbs ended up winning the matchup, but then Marie Shafir and Yuta decided to attack him after the matchup. But then here comes Willow Nightingale again, and then she was going off on Maria Shafir until Willa Yuta grabbed her by the hair, and then she hit him and started screaming at him. Hobbs took care of him, and then Chris Statlander saw what was going on the ring entrance, and then she backed away, and Will Nightingale basically called out her on that. There's going to be a feud between those two, I got a feeling. So, and that is it for AEW Collision Event Center for May the 17th, 2025. Like again, I apologize for reporting this a little later than usual because of the fact that the feed was cut off at 9:30 instead of 10 o'clock. They usually have 2 hours in the show. And I know a lot of people have been thinking, why a taped show is cut off. Make it make sense. People thinking it's the weather and all that. I really don't know. Is it somebody new in the product? Unfortunately, in my personal opinion, that situation has jumped the shark, and it could hurt AEW in the long run. And there's going to be a lot of people not a lot of viewers are going to be happening in AEW left, and AEW would have made the most fatal mistake ever, on the planet. We all thought the WCW's mistakes were fatal. This one could be the most fatal mistake business-wise from AEW standpoint. So, and I feel bad for the talent in AEW because their job, I'm very disappointed, very, very disappointed, and that could hurt the WWE, and that could favor, not hurt the WWE, that could hurt AEW, but it could favor the WWE in the long run in the end. And that would be not very good for AEW. I'd like to see AEW succeed, but unfortunately this situation could set everything back for AEW. We'll see what happens. So that's all the time we have on the show. Episode 2252 of Eric Lima Shenanigans 1977. AEW Collision Event Center for May the 17th. Well, that's all there is to it. I will see you guys later. You guys have a wonderful day, and until the next episode comes rolling around, Mr. Announcer, take us home. That is all for today's episode of the show. This is Mr. Announcer speaking for Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977. A Big Beefy E and Do It for Bob Saget production, and in association with a Raving Bull for 3000 Telepictures and Distribution. Thank you for watching another episode of Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977. See you later on the next episode of the show. Goodbye for now.